Welcome back, guys. We are back to sublimation today. In today's video, we are going to be opening up my brand new 8-in-1 heat press, walking you through everything that this package comes with, and then showing you guys a couple of sublimations that we're going to try on the mug and on a t-shirt. Let's go ahead and get started. The first thing I'm going to say is I purchased this from Swing Design, and it got here probably within 3 days. It was really awesome, quick turnaround. I do want to say that in some of the fine print that I was reading through, it says that you need to take a picture of your box, unopened, with your tags showing like the address label and shipping labels and all of that. That way, if you do have something's wrong with the heat press or any of the components or anything, they know that it happened prior to when you opened it and it's not at your fault at all. I wanted to throw that out there because that's so easy to miss. I happened to stumble across it and I wanted to share that information with you so you can also keep yourself safe. It's a big purchase, so we want to make sure that we follow all of the steps to take care of ourselves. I have already taken my picture, so I'm going to go ahead and open it. I decided to pull you guys down here with me because I think instead of pulling this box out, I'm going to just start pulling parts out. Just to make it a little easier on myself because I'm short, so when it's on the table, it's hard for me to get to. So I'm going to pull this out, which this is part of the hat press that comes with it. Okay, and here it looks like we have the heat plates so that you can do sublimation on plates. And we'll get into this a little more detailed as we go. Oh goodness. We have mug press attachment. Gloves, thankfully. And then here's the actual press. She's heavy. Okay. Now that I've thrown things, here's another one of our like mug tumbler press. What are these called? They're like little cusps. Those two. That should be everything, but I'm just going to make sure. Oh gosh, I don't like this sound. Nothing under there. Put this back in. And now I can pull out the box. Than it would have been before. Okay. On our box here, it tells me on the side everything that we get with this press. Again, this is the 12 by 15. I'm just starting out. If you're new to my channel, subscribe. We would love to have you here. But if you're new, I just several weeks ago got my sublimation printer. I just tried my first project on some car coasters, and I wasn't ready to quite go and get a big old heat press and just like go all in. However, I wasn't comfortable. I talk too much. You see I talk with my hands. I'm fidgety. So using my Cricut heat press 2, which worked great for the transfers and everything, I move too much and I can't seem to sit still. So I thought having an actual heat press where I can put it down in, lock it in place, would be helpful for me personally. So I went ahead and moved on with this, and one of my things I really wanted to be able to do is to make tumblers and things. So when I was looking for a tumbler press, I was like, man, that's a lot of money. So I started looking at, like, you know, they have like 5-in-1s and all of this, and trying to see what press do I get, because I don't know if you guys have done research, but the reviews are so mixed on every single item that I've looked at. It's really, really hard to kind of narrow it down. I did join a Facebook group for sublimation. It's called Sublimation for Beginners, but I didn't join that until after I already bought this, so maybe I should have done that first. But if you're kind of in a stuck place like me and looking for what is going to be best, maybe find a group like that search in within the group, best heat press, recommended, whatever, and you should probably find posts of other people searching too, but this is kind of where I landed. Again, Swing Design, from what I've seen, has had really good reviews. I've seen these particular presses all over the place. They have a lot of 15 by 15 options. They were all sold out. So the 12 by 15 is good enough for me for now. Like I said, I'm just starting out. I'm trying to see if I like it. So that's why I went with this and how I did, because I wanted to be able to do all of the different things. And if I'm going to spend my money, I'd rather just spend more and get all of these other options as well. Again, so let's start with, this is the actual heat press machine. I am going to, I just have some cheap non-slip contact paper. Though this table, I have ruined it. This is my mom's old kitchen table that she gave to me. It's not like an heirloom or anything. Don't yell at me. But I planned on stripping it and refinishing it at some point. So when I brought it into my craft room, I didn't protect it at all. So it's all painted up and dinged up and stuff. But I'm still going to put the heat press on just like this little contact paper. I don't know if this is a bad idea. Somebody can let me know. Set this on here for now. So this is a swing away. All right, we're gonna move this now. You saw how pretty the box is. They do a great job. Okay. Completely like swings out of the way. Which again, I've never used a heat press, but from all of the reviews, I've heard it's really nice because on the other ones, I guess they lift and then the tray moves out. But this way you can move it completely out of your way, and it is 180, so I can... I haven't messed with my setup yet, but basically swing it completely out of the way, have your whole setup here, you have your pads and everything. So yeah, I'm really excited to get to use this for the first time. We're going to use it, I'm going to play with it after I go through everything, play with it for a minute, kind of figure out what we're doing, and then I am going to attempt my first shirt sublimation, and then also a mug sublimation. So over here is the mug press. All of these different pieces, like heating elements, have their own little like tube here, and it hooks into this area right here. We're not doing all that right now. I'll show that as I'm actually going to use this, but they have the smaller one, this little attachment here, and you just undo these and you can like slide it out. Again, we'll do that later. And then it comes with two other attachments. Okay, so I remember off the box it says a 9-ounce mug press attachment, a 11-ounce mug press attachment, and a 12-ounce mug press attachment, as well as a tumbler mug press attachment. So this one's kind of like a cone shape. And then this one is just basically this, but a different size. And then I will say, I know people like to do full wrap tumblers. I personally want to do them too. This is not meant for full wraps. However, there are ways around it by doing one part of the tumbler at a time. You have to be careful with ghosting and things. And I should be able to do the 20-ounce skinny tumblers in this as well, but it's kind of one of those things, it wasn't specifically meant for it, so I'll have to kind of figure that out. And I do want to do that, so I'm going to kind of practice with that, and I will make a separate video specifically for that, because it's going to, what pressure, what heat, all of that's going to go into whether that's going to work here or not, especially when I'm flipping and doing it at separate times, because you can get the ghosting and unevenness. I did want to mention that it does say it's for tumblers. You can do tumblers, but it doesn't do full wraps unless you're willing to figure out what works best for you to move the tumbler around to get the full wrap. I know it's been really hard researching on what can do what, and so I just wanted to make that very clear because I know the 20-ounce skinny tumblers are what's really popular right now, so this is not meant specifically for them. So please note that yourself if you're willing to try to see what works and maybe probably burn through a couple tumblers to get this to work the way that you want it to for that specific type, then okay, go for it. If you're not and you specifically want that, then this is probably not for you if you're only wanting to focus on full wraps without having to do all of the extra work. I wanted to be very clear on that. It's not really I couldn't find that information anywhere. Design Bundles, their YouTube channel. I was chatting with one of the ladies on there, with the girl on there, and she was the one that told me, like, you should be able to do it, you just have to move it around, but you cannot specifically do full wraps on here. Sorry, I digress. I just feel like that's really important information for somebody who's looking for a machine because that is what's really popular right now. I don't want you to buy this with the expectation of just being able to pop it in and make it work. That's not going to happen, and I just didn't want you to be disappointed whenever this came in, you're ready to get started, and then you're like, crap, what do I do now? Full disclosure. Okay, so this is our press, our cones there, and then I can get this out. The last attachment, and this one's the bit longer one, so this one would probably be for the tumbler. Just another attachment with the heating, and then, like I said, I think this one's meant for the tumblers. It's a little longer than the mug version. Those are all the mug tumbler presses, and then here we have the hat press. The way this works is that these two pieces, you take off the plates here, the bottom and the top plate for the heat press, and then these attachments go on to this, and then you can do hats as well. I don't have any hats to sublimate on today, so we're not going to do this today. Just wanted to show you that it came with it. I thought that's pretty cool because my boyfriend loves hats. And then also you can sublimate plates. Now the one thing that I don't know that I'm going to love, I'm not exactly sure. I'm going to have to look at like how you heat this because it doesn't have a heat cord. So I don't know if you like press this and heat it up to do your plates, or if you use this and press it with that. Like, I don't really know how this one works, so I'm gonna have to do some research on how, but I think it's really cool because you can make cute little like decorative plates for your family members and things. And then it also comes with some gloves, which is awesome because I don't have any, and I was getting a little risky in my last video when I was doing those car coasters and just touching all over everything. Just some little gloves to keep your hands safe because this machine will get really hot. If you don't know, sublimation you need to have something that gets up to at least 400 degrees. Not really a temperature to play around with. Okay, now I am going to kind of move this aside. I have a couple other things that I want to show you guys. So along with a heat press, you're going to need, you can see back there in the corner, some butcher paper. I just got plain white butcher paper off of Amazon, and so you can get it there. I know people get big rolls from Sam's Club. There's a lot of different places that you can get it. Make sure you have that, and what you're going to do is have it on the top and on the bottom of whatever item that you are pressing, like if you're pressing on the heat press, and make sure it's bigger than the item because it's going to catch any of that extra ink that's kind of going to gas out. And then like for your other items, you're still going to want to make sure you have them protected with the butcher paper, like wrapped around and just do some research, okay? So, and then the other thing I purchased is this guy. So he's a really nifty tape dispenser. All of the videos I've watched, a lot of times you have one hand, especially with tumblers, you're trying to hold, you get your wrap in place and you have one hand to get tape. So I wanted to make sure I had a tape dispenser on hand. I don't know how to say this. Echomerx, maybe? But I have this. I'll have this linked in my affiliate links below in the description as well. But let me show it to you. I did already set him up. So In my craft room a lot, I use masking tape. So I did put that on the outside little guy here. My bad. This is the little, so you can do smaller rolls, like a smaller diameter roll. So this is just the attachment for that. But for this one, like it has like a little pop-up blade on the side here. You can see that. So I'm just gonna put it down because it's kind of out there and I don't want to cut myself. But you just, this little thing kind of like flaps around. You just push it up and then you put your tape on. You do have to have like the thinner, like the skinnier tapes for it to fit. And then you can just have it loaded like that. And like I said, I use masking tape in my craft room all the time. So it's nice to really have that on there preloaded. And then I do have 4 of the heat tapes on here already loaded. And then when you load it, this just pops out like these wheels. I'm not going to pull them out because I already have it loaded up. But you just pull it out. You load these on here. I went ahead and got like the little, there's like a little yellow flap to help you easy peel back. I went ahead and peeled them back. And then you load them upside down almost. So like the adhesive is going to go underneath the wheel and it's going to come back up, which seems kind of weird. Just thought I'd mention that the adhesive side, you kind of just stick it here, like right here on this wheel right here. You turn the knob and it's just going to go backwards, and then it pre-cuts the pieces of tape for you. That way when you have one hand, you can just grab a piece and go, or you can spin the wheel and it'll put the tape up there for you to grab and go. It's unnecessary. There are smaller dispensers that you can use. I will link a couple that would be easy for you to use as well, but I'm extra, so here we go. And then it has like a little compartment for like scissors and pencils or whatever you might need. Just wanted to show you that nifty little dispenser that we got. And then if you saw my last video, you know that I have car coaster blanks that I'm using to practice on because I don't want to ruin an expensive blank. So I've been practicing on these, but I'm excited to actually practice with the actual heat press and see what the difference is. And now that I found my heat tape, because it went missing on me, I just went to Michael's and picked up a sublimation mug. This one's specific by Cricut because they didn't have any of their others in stock. This is just what I'm going to use to practice on today. And then I have t-shirts, and these are just the Bella canvas. So I think they're 50%. Sorry, they're 48% polyester. So they're not the best. Like they say you want to have, they recommend probably 65% for sublimation to get a really good image for it. But like I said, I've never done this before, so I wanted to make sure that I was practicing on something that I don't care if something happens to it. I'm going to be doing a shirt today. Like I said, at least 50% polyester. This is 48. It's going to be what it's going to be. I just want to get a feel for the machine and everything, and if it doesn't turn out, I'm not losing sleep over it. Got it on sale anyway. That's what I have. And then I also picked up a few tumblers, but again, I'm not going to cover that in this video today. Let's get this turned on and see where to go from there. So you can see here, we've kind of moved positions a little bit. I just wanted you to be able to see a little better, but also it just works better mechanically. So I just moved things around a little bit. I did already get rid of that non-slip mat. That was not helpful. It was too much to worry about it being flat. But moving forward, I did want to point out that there is a little instruction sheet pamphlet in with this, and it just tells you what all of the buttons mean. It shows you the display and what they do, and then also it goes through all of the different like attachments here, and then it gives suggested temps and times for everything. So yeah, I just wanted to point that out. This does come with it. They pack it really tight and neatly and have kind of some stuff tucked in each other. So I just wanted to point it out so that you don't accidentally overlook this or throw it away. So the first thing that we're going to do is I've already plugged this into the wall because y'all don't need to watch me plug that into the wall. But it is just, it just has like its little shape here, and it just plugs into the back of the machine. Line them up, push it in, simple as that. All right, the next thing we're going to do is turn it on. I'm going to go ahead and take this off. And that left kind of like some crumbles on there, so I'm going to get that off if I can. I just don't want there to be any like bumps or anything underneath. I'm not sure how that would affect it, but I'd rather just get it all off and not have to worry about it. So set aside. Okay, the on-off buttons on the side here, we're just going to flip it on. On the screen, I'm going to turn this down for a minute. There. On the screen here, you have your temperature, your time, and then down here you have 3 different mode settings. You can pre-save 3 different modes. So like for the t-shirts, I'm only going to be doing 400 degrees for 60 seconds. That's the recommended. And I can save that into this first one. That way I don't have to set the heat settings every single time. Right now my machine's on Celsius, so I'm going to hold the plus and the minus together and it switches. So you just push them together at the same time and it switches back to Fahrenheit. And then to go ahead and set your time and temperature, you're going to press the settings button. And then mine was at 392, so I'm just going to push it all the way up to 400. I'm going to hit that again and I'll switch to my seconds or my time, and it's already at 60 seconds. So I'm just going to leave that there, and then this is going to heat up. Now, we are going to be doing this t-shirt. Again, this is only a 48 polyester, and it's a blend, which it's recommended that 50 at the least, and preferably 65 or up for the best transfers. I don't have that on hand. Again, and if you've watched my other videos, I said I don't want to go buy a ton of blanks of things before I kind of get a feel for what I'm doing. I don't want to spend all this money and 1, decide I don't like it, or 2, buy the wrong thing or buy a brand that I don't like. So I just grabbed this one, and if it doesn't transfer quite right, I'm going to assume it's because it's not the quality that it needs to be and not necessarily the sublimation or anything. Obviously for sublimation you have to have a specific printer, and I have the Epson Eco Tank that I had already converted, so I'll link that in the description if you have any questions about what printer I'm using. I created this image, and I did this with a mixture of, which it kind of faded out on my print here, and I'm not really sure what happened or why that happened. We're living and learning, but I created this with Canva, my Cricut design space, and then a little manipulation in Word. I'm kind of still figuring out what I like or what I want to use on it. So I had already created the words because I had created a shirt similar with vinyl a while ago, and I washed it twice and it peeled off. I stopped making shirts with vinyl because I didn't feel like they lasted at all. So that's why I want to try this again with this background. I'm not sure how it's going to look on this color, but like I said, this is just a practice. I want to kind of just show you guys the setup, how it works, and that if I can do it, you can do it. I know on my channel I do a lot of different things and I am talented in a lot of areas, but when it comes to technology, I am not great. Like I can be good at it if I sit down and I learn, and I'm a hands-on person. So give me these different programs and stuff and I will excel at them, but it's going to take me a little time to get there. And so this is very nerve-wracking for me, but if I can do it, you can do it. So we're going to do it together. I could easily do this and then not show you and show you one that looks perfect, but that's not really what this is all about. This is us learning together. Mind you, this is very hot, okay? You need to make sure you have butcher paper cut to larger than the size that you're doing. So I have 2 pieces I pre-cut here. And then from my research, I saw you can put this whole piece of paper down onto your shirt, but what I'm going to do is I cut around the edges kind of roughly, and they said that just kind of helps with not getting any ghost lines from the paper, and if you do, it's kind of more fitting to the image and not just harsh straight lines. Someone else also said if you rip it, that helps too, because then it's still not a harsh line from cutting, that it's just like a ripped image. I'm just going to do like a rough cut around this image. Try not to touch your image at all. You don't want your finger oils or anything to kind of mess with any of it. So I'm just going to trim it down here. Okay. Toss that to the side. I need to grab my tape. I'm going to swing this back out of the way. It's still heating up. And I'm going to get my shirt and things prepped here. Sorry, I haven't quite figured out how I'm going to have this all spaced out and things, so we'll get there to where it's a little more convenient. But I'm going to take my shirt and place it on upside down. So this is just going to slip over here. I'm going to try to get the sleeves kind of off, the neckline kind of off, but just center it the best that you can. Hold on. I want to make sure I'm going to grab it by the side seams and kind of scrunch it up. That way I know it's straight. And make sure you're putting it on front side up, if that makes sense. So you don't want to accidentally sublimate on the back of your shirt. So the reason I'm putting it around like this is, one, to keep it in place, but two, to put something in between the front and the back of the shirt. That way the sublimation doesn't go through. Sorry guys, I'm a little nervous, so I'm trying to make sure I have it as best as I can. So I'm going to take it, you see how I have this kind of lipped up on here? I'm going to pull it back just a little. That way when the heat press sits on it, it sits flat completely, and that's not causing any uneven surface. And then got a bit of the shirt caught right here. There we go. This is something practice makes perfect. So over time, I won't have to fiddle so much. It'll just feel right, and I'll kind of know. But like I said, I'm a little nervous because it's my first time ever doing this. Okay, the other thing I saw that you definitely want to lint roll your surface and just get any little tiny fibers that might be loose, because they can cause discoloration on your shirt or in your print. So I went ahead and do that. Oops. So okay, so it is it's heated up and it's beeping at me, but I almost made a boo-boo, guys. The paper needs to go inside here. Because if not, this will press through my shirt and get on my heating mat. So all of that organizing I just did, I need to undo real quick to get this in. So I'm going to cut this down just a wee bit to fit here a little better. That would have been embarrassing. Very tragic. Okay, let me redo this here. I hear you, machine. Let's have some patience, shall we? Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and put tape on the sides of this. That way it's not shifting while I'm trying to put my shirt on. Just to make my life a little easier. Let's start again. Again, I'm going to find the seams and kind of, I don't know if this works, but this is what my brain tells me will help me keep it centered. So, yes, machine, I hear you. Seems centered. Okay, Now I've already cut down this, and you notice that it is mirrored because when I put it on, it transfers to the shirt. We want it to transfer the correct way. Okay, now I also saw that you want to make sure it's at least like 3 finger widths from your collar. So I'm just going to kind of center it, eyeball center it here, down off of my collar, right here in the middle. I'm going to put a little heat tape down on the sides just to help hold it in place. It shouldn't move, but again, like I said, that's something I feel like as I get better, I'll be able to figure things out a little better. But let's go ahead and switch it around. Now, this is the pressure knob. I didn't touch it. I'm just going to use what it already came as because I don't quite know what I need to do yet with that. Make sure my cord is out of the way. Oh, guys, listen, newbie here. Put my paper down. Okay, ready? The center here, and we're just going to, I have seen where some people too, they will pre-press their shirt, so before they put the image on, they'll press the shirt just to make sure that it has no wrinkles or anything and it's nice and flat, but I didn't do that either. Okay, so that's time. I'm gonna hold it just a little longer because it is not that polyester. Okay, so maybe like 5 seconds longer. I don't know if that's necessary, but that's what I did. Just gonna swing this out of the way. Let's go ahead and turn the machine off because I'm not gonna plan on using it. I'm gonna let it cool down and then we can practice a mug and kind of go through how to set all that up. So I'm going to move this. And if I wouldn't have put this down, if I would have forgot, that probably would have ended up on my iron and I would have ruined it because that would have come through multiple designs after the first use and that would have been sad. So I'm going to just pull this up. Okay, that's not too bad. Again, the color choice for this probably wasn't the best. When I originally made this design, I thought I was going to put it on the white shirt, but I didn't want to, so that's okay. Take this off, and you can see how it kind of went through to the back side. That's why it's, oh wait, maybe you can't. You see the lines? That's why it's important to have it on the front and the back. Guys, that's doable for my very first one. That's exciting. I do like where it misprinted. I actually really like that and kind of wish the whole thing was like that. Happy little mistakes. Oh, that's exciting, guys. Yeah. All right. I did it. So now the best thing about this is that it's like actually in the shirt. Like it's not vinyl. It's still soft. It's going to last forever as long as you wash it properly and those kind of things, which I believe you turn it inside out, you wash it in cold water, and then it's a low or air dry, tumble dried, or you would hang it. That's what's going to make it last the longest. I'm excited about it. I was really nervous. All right, so now that that one's out of the way, I am going to kind of reset here and let this cool down. And then we are going to switch. I'm going to show you how to switch it over to the mug press. And we're going to practice pressing a mug together and see how that goes. See you in a second. I've given this a little time to cool down just so I'm not fumbling around with a hot plate. Even though this won't be being used, I'm a klutz sometimes, and that's not a risk I'm wanting to take today. This is completely cold. In the meantime, I went ahead and opened up my mug. I did already clean this with alcohol, So I just wiped it with alcohol and let it sit here and dry. We're going to move over to the mug press. Don't mind all my junk back here. Sorry, guys. Like I said, I'm working on a setup, but when you're filming a setup that you need to actually film and a setup that you need to make it usable are two different things. So let's come over here. I don't need this anymore. And we're going to talk about the mug press. Can y'all see? Here we go. Okay. We're going to start by just showing you how to interchange this. Now, I'm going to be honest, I did just want to get these loosened up and ready to go so that when I turned on the camera, I didn't have any issues. And am I glad, because straight out of the box, these were impossible for me to turn by hand. So what I did is I put on my little heat glove because it has these good grippies, and I got this side loosened, but I could not get this side. I had to ask my boyfriend if he could do it. He was actually down the street at his parents' house. So I walked my happy self down there with this press, and he ended up having to take a rag and a pair of pliers and turn these to get these loose. So just FYI, you're not crazy if it won't come out. It's just really tight and you need to possibly use some pliers. But again, he used a rag so that he didn't mess with any of these threads on here. But you literally just loosen them and I never ended up actually taking it off. But you just unscrew them all the way. Just looks like this. Don't lose them. I'm just going to set them to the side. And then this should just slide out. Okay. So you would set this aside if that's not the one you wanted to use, and then you would just pick up whichever one you wanted or plan to use, and then slide it back on. Now, you would just put these on, tighten them all the way down. Don't over tighten them, but like tighten them to where they're not going to move. You know, they want to be nice and tight to where they can't move or anything, but also to where you can get it back out. I'm not going to put this back on because I don't want to use this one. I just wanted to show you guys how easy it is to interchange these out. This one would be the 9-ounce mug. Double check that I have my sizes right. Yeah, 9-ounce and then 11-ounce. And so the difference in these two, so they're the same, they're the exact same length, but it's the padding here. Obviously the 11-ounce mug, which is this one I'm pointing at, would need a little more space. So the cup, so when it clamps down, it would have a little more space for the cup. And then for the 9-ounce, since it's a little smaller, it's a thicker pad. That way it really hugs it and puts more pressure on the cup to transfer the image. So I'm going to be using the 11-ounce. This is the 11-ounce. The thicker one that's identical is the 9-ounce. The coned one is the 12-ounce mug. And then the taller one is the tumbler press. All right. I'm going to put this back on. Let's get this out of there. So I'm just going to slide it back in. And tighten these back up. And then we'll talk about actually pressing the mug. So I'm going to do this side first. Remember, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. So when you're going to go to get these off for the first time, especially if it is the first time in factory, you know, straight out of the factory, you know, make sure you're turning them the correct way. You want to go to the left to loosen them and to the right to tighten them. I'm just putting these all back in, and then I'll tighten them all down. Good golly, come on. Okay. Now, like I said, I am going to make sure it's nice and tight because you don't want this like wiggling around at all and shifting your image or anything, but you also want to be able to get it undone. So I'm just going to cinch them all down. And then to plug this up to the heat press itself, sorry, so I want to make sure you guys can see pretty well. Walk around. Can't wait to figure out a setup here. All right, let's turn this so you can see. Right here is where the heat plate connects here. You're just gonna turn so if you can't see, turning this little guy right here. Okay, I'm loosening it, and then I'm just gonna gently wiggle it and disconnect. Okay, then what I want to do is take this one, line it up. I'm going to turn my heat press. Like I said, I don't have this in a good setup, but I'm going to turn it to where this can reach a little better, where I can still see though. There's like 4 little holes. You just line those up. Get that in there nice and snug. And then you just tighten that piece down onto it to make sure it's nice and connected. And then there's a second wire down here, which I haven't unclipped yet. And this goes, where does this one go? Oh, it's down here. Okay. Underneath, there's just another little, like it's underneath here. There's just another little place to plug in. And what this is going to do is it's just going to connect the timer and everything to the press. So the heat's going to connect here, and then the timer's going to connect. So everything's communicating with each other. And that's how easy it is to connect this and switch it out from the heat, and it'll stop the heat from here and it'll put the heat into here. Now I'm not going to turn this on yet. I want to talk to you about my mug. Again, this is just a Cricut mug. I picked it from Michael's. You don't need to see me open the box, but this is a 15 ounce and this is an 11 ounce. Now, this can still be pressed in here. The only thing is it's not going to come completely around. And there are measurements and things on the internet that you can reach to find out what size you need to do for your images. Instead of doing all that, because I just wasn't sure, I made my own template. So this is just computer paper. I wrapped the computer paper around to each side of the handle. And then I cut it down to size. And then again, I cut it this way. So this kind of has like a bevel edge on it here. So I stopped where the flat surface stopped, and then I cut it that down too, just to give me an idea of what size my image needed to be. And then I took the measurements of this piece of paper. Well, I also did this. I put it in here since my press is for an 11 ounce and this is a 15 ounce mug. I just slid it in as if I were going to press it. Okay. And it's going to show me that with my handle in the middle of here, and then this, hopefully, I'm going to release this pressure a little. Okay, I was on the right track. I just wanted to make sure. So all I did is I turned this, and I'm bringing it all the way in to this black piece here. And what it's doing is it's loosening this up to allow it to close on the bigger mug. Okay, so I didn't want to like try to clamp it and break it. So I'm just making this as wide as it can go. Now what I was saying before is I have my template here, and then when I go to close it, I want to see how much of this pad is covering, because this right here, nothing will transfer here because there's no heat. So that's kind of how I came up with my, like how big my design should be. I put these measurements in on my computer and I did my images to be on either side, either side of this, excluding, you know, a ½ inch on each side to make sure it's within the heat press element. Now, I'm making a mug, but I'm 90% a iced coffee drinker. I did print 2 different sizes. Excuse me. I got this image off of Canva. Canva.com. It is free, but I do have the pro version, so I have access to a lot of different things. I honestly don't know if this image was pro or not, but this is the image I'm going to use for my coffee mug. Now I just kind of need to see which size is going to be best, which I think it's the slightly bigger one, which is basically like a 3x3. I think so. So if I wrap this around, yeah, I think it's going to be this bigger size. So I'm just going to cut this down. I'm going to kind of get my mug ready before I turn on the press, just because I don't know how quickly everything goes and I want to make sure I get it all. So I'm going to try to trim off equal amounts on the side just so I can line it up to the handle and it'll be somewhat centered based on how much or how far away it is from both sides. But if I don't cut it off even, then that's not going to work. So we're going to kind of wing it here. Like I said, this is my first time, but I wanted you guys to see the raw and the real, because we all have to start somewhere. What's that saying? Every master was a beginner at some point in time. Let's learn together. Let's not try to pretend like everything's perfect. So what you can see what I'm doing here is I'm lining it up to that handle to kind of see, and then you can kind of see my image in there to right here. So hopefully that is going to be within that heat mark, which I think it is for both. I think I'm ready to tape this on. Make sure it's not crooked. Not the same. The way I'm doing it is I'm making sure I have the same amount of paper showing all the way around, making sure these are straight as long as my cuts were straight, and then that it's kind of just lined up on the cup each way. This is just the process of how my brain works. I don't know if it's a good thing or not, but we're doing it. So I'm going to tape all the different parts here. And if you can see, this is how nice this tape dispenser is. It's all ready for me. All I have to do is grab it and go, which is why I wanted it. Like I said, I can be a klutz sometimes, so fumbling around trying to make things happen isn't always going to be best for me. Now I'm going to take the next step. I see some people do it and some not, but I'm going to use a piece of the butcher paper, or I guess I could use the printer paper here and wrap it. I'm just going to use, I'm going to use the butcher paper just to be safe, because whatever is touching the image, that's what that ink is going to transfer over to. And I don't want to risk getting the ink on here and causing a big mess. If the ink gets on there and does cause a mess, it could cause you issues in your future prints, because that ink could transfer over to, you know, the next mug that you do. So that's a risk you're taking if you don't want to add the butcher paper, if you don't want to do this step, but I would just suggest it. One thing I will say I like about this Cricut mug is I love the handle and the inside being a different color. I think that's super cute. So I'm just going to wrap this. This one doesn't have to be cut perfect by any means, but it's just, like I said, a protective layer to catch that image, to make sure we're not going to ruin our press on the first try. I do want to say, if you're new here and watching my video, I would love if you would become a subscriber. My channel is growing pretty steadily right now, and I'm so grateful for that, but still about 90% of the people who stop in and watch me don't subscribe, and so that hurts my feelings a little, guys. But I would love it if you're not ready to subscribe, at least give me a thumbs up on my video to let other people know that this is, or at least let YouTube know that this content is good and worth sharing to others who are looking for help. I would really, really, truly appreciate that. Okay, this is all wrapped and ready. The next step is to make sure for this you have your gloves handy just in case when this mug comes out, because it is ceramic, so when all of this heats, this is going to heat too. You don't want to grab it and burn yourself. And then it does on this sheet of paper show a recommendation on what heat setting to put on here. Here it says for mugs, for Fahrenheit 360 at 180 seconds. We are going to turn on this heat press again. And now again, this is plugged in here, so the heat's going to come here. I'm going to flip the handle here. I'm just going to move this for a second so you can see everything happening the best of our ability. I am going to hit setting 400. We're going to take that down to 380. And then, what did it say? 180 seconds. 360. Okay, 360 at 180 seconds. So I'm going to hit setting again, and it'll switch to time, and we're going to go up to 180. Oh, okay. We're just going to let this heat. Like I said, this is a slightly bigger mug, and I'm scared I'm going to like completely crush it. So I might hold it here if it doesn't completely go in, just so I don't cause any trouble. I hope this video has been helpful for you guys. I really, really do. If it has, please leave me a comment below, or if there's something you wish I kind of went into more depth of, leave me a comment for that as well, because your feedback is what helps me know what to do in my videos. Am I spending too much time on one thing that maybe doesn't need to be spent on, and am I just skipping over something else that could have been really helpful for you? That's very important for me to be able to give that feedback. So just wanted to tell you guys, that way you know, and you can leave me a comment and help me out. I do know when I opened this up, I said I wasn't sure exactly how it worked as far as like heating this, and I did look it up, and you do heat this on the heating plate. So what you'll do is, whichever side, there's two different sizes, whatever plate you're doing, you'll take this off. You'll set your heating settings and stuff, and then it tells you in here, like it says, let's just go over it while we're doing it. Does it say right here? This is going over the actual heat press. Does it not talk about the heat plate? I thought it did. Okay, but basically a short synopsis, which definitely look into this more, is you'll take off whatever side, you'll heat it for said time, and then you'll put your plate on. You'll put this like face down with this back on, face down onto the plate, and then you'll press it with the heat plate and everything. We hear ya, okay? So I'm gonna put this back in here and just set it aside. I just wanted to bring that up to you guys. I did look that up because I wasn't quite sure. All right, I'm going to slip this in. There it goes. My time just started. So I'm just going to hold this here. Again, this is, sorry, you can kind of see that it's just slightly too big for this press. So I'm just going to hold it tight. I don't want to like crush it or anything. So I'm going to hold here. This part that I'm touching is not hot. And I'm just going to hold that for the, which ideally this would flip all the way and hold itself, but again, like I said, my mug's just slightly big for this press. It's a 15 ounce into 11 ounce, and it could possibly fit a little better, but again, I'm learning with you guys, so I'm trying to just show you what I'm doing because I'm really not sure. I'll speed you guys up. Okay. Time it's up. I'm gonna release. And then again, I don't want to grab this just in case it's hot. But you can see my image kind of through, so that's, or how it's like that burnt-ish color. That's a good sign. I'm gonna go ahead and turn this off because I don't plan on using it again. Now, let's see if we can take this off. I hope it's not. It's not too bad. I'm like only touching it with my fingernails, so don't get any ideas that I'm like just grabbing it right now. I don't want you to grab it and burn yourself because it is very hot. Oh my gosh. How cute. So one thing you guys need to know about me is I love puns. Like, love them. I will throw a pun in a situation anytime I can. It says, I love you from my head to my toes. I love it so much. It did so good. Again, this is a 15-ounce mug in there, and I did have to hold it that whole time, which is inconvenient, but it could also be operator error. Please keep that in mind, as I've told you. But yeah, look how sweet. I love it. Love it. All right, now this is very hot, so we're not going to touch it. I don't plan on switching this over for you guys. There are lots of videos of people out there already doing it. I don't have a hat to sublimate for you guys either. If I do make one, clearly I will show you the full steps of this as we go, but it's the same thing as far as the heating element. And then for the top part, these two right here, there are corresponding wing nuts right here, that right there, and then one on the other side. You'll undo those wing nuts and very carefully you will slide the plate off, okay? And then after you've slid this off, you will put this in place and then tighten the wing nuts back down. So this black plate will be there. You'll tighten those back down, and that will put this part on so that you can, you know, lift and press this. And then here on the bottom, same place, there's like place for little hole, like nuts to go. You'll remove the bottom plate, you'll put it there, and then it will, it'll be attached to the arm. And when you do the arm, instead of it being the plate, it'll swing over and then clamp down on your hat. So just wanted to point that out for you guys. Just be very careful. Don't lose the wing nuts. You obviously need those. So when you take them off, put them in your pocket or have a designated area for them. Don't lose them. Excuse me. Don't drop your plates. Just be very, very cautious when you're switching stuff out. I don't want you to spend your hard-earned money on that and then do something kind of careless and hurt them. All right. See, this is still pretty hot to the touch. I just touched it and no thank you. So keep that in mind, guys. I don't want you to burn yourself. I'm going to put it on the little heat glove here. And I'm going to turn you guys back to me. All right, that is the end of the unboxing and few samples that I have for this machine. I think it's wonderful. I'm hoping that it holds up and does great. If you guys want me to give a review in a couple months and kind of show you where I've landed, what I've learned from it, kind of my progress, just to give you guys an idea of what to expect a couple months down the road once you get more comfortable, I'm happy to do so. But again, I won't know to do that unless you give me feedback. So feedback in the comments. I take constructive criticism very well, but like, don't be mean, okay? Don't make fun of me. You have lots of things to make fun of me about, but just don't, okay? I have this in my daily life. I don't need it here too. I just want constructive criticism. If, you know, if there's something you wish I touched on more, Please let me know if you think I did a good job. Like I said, giving me a thumbs up on this video, it's the free and most beneficial way that you can show me your support, because it's going to tell YouTube that this is good information and it'll push my video out. So please give me a thumbs up. Again, if you're new here, I would love for you to subscribe and join us on our crafting journey. If you are just into sublimation, then I will have a few videos for that. I have a Cricut machine, I do thrift flips, I do pretty much anything my little heart desires. I know that some people may not like all of the difference and kind of chaos, organized chaos, but that's just kind of how I roll. I like to have my hand in a little bit of everything because I get bored. And I like challenges, and I like learning new things, and I like to be able to say, hey, yeah, you need me to make that? I got you, I can do it. So if you guys want to learn a little bit of everything that I know, that's what I'm here to do, is to share that with you. So if you're returning, thank you so much. You guys are so sweet. You guys take care of me. I am blessed and would not be here today without you. Let me show you again my t-shirt. Again, the coloration, I think obviously I could have picked a better color to go on top of this kind of mint color, but I think I did really good for the first one. Now it is a little crooked if I actually show you. If you look at where the neckline is, it's maybe you can't see it too well on the camera, but just know that it's slightly off. But I don't care. I'm really proud. I designed this myself. I got the background and the frame. So this is two different frames. I designed those on Canva. I designed the wording on my Cricut, and then I kind of went a way about to get them to where I could print them off. And then again, this cute little design is from canva.com. It's free. You can use it. It is such an amazing tool when it comes to designing. They have so many pictures, even on the free version. Again, I have the pro, but I use Canva probably daily for all kinds of stuff. So that's where I use, and that's where I got this cute little tomatoes. Like I said, this is the press. I love it. I'm happy with it. I'm very excited to actually get going and to learn. Again, I am going to practice around with some of these skinny 20-ounce tumblers. I can show them to you. I do have these linked in my affiliates if you want to see. These are the ones that everyone is using right now. Like I said, they're very popular. You can get these on Amazon. I have it linked in my affiliates if you're interested to see what they are. They come with a little metal straw, which I love. They're super cute. I love a good tumbler. This is what they look like. Has a little sticker on the bottom. You can take that off, but I liked this one because it has a closing clasp. I don't like the ones that don't have something to close because I told you I'm kind of a klutz and I spill things. So it just, you know, it's not a twist or anything. You just push it in. It has a little gasket. And then obviously the straw fits in if you're a straw drinker. Super cute. And then the best part is, you know, when you make a design or do it, you can slide it back in here after it's done. Put it back in the box and then give it to people. That way you don't have to worry about it being damaged or anything. Best part about these and the best part about sublimation is these things can go, in the dishwasher, top rack only. Top rack only. Keep that in mind. Make sure you tell your people that, but they're supposed to be able to go into the dishwasher, top rack, or hand wash, which with any of the vinyl stuff, you know, you cannot put it in the dishwasher. It will be ruined. So I'm very excited that that is an option. Because who likes doing dishes? Not me. But yeah. Let me know, guys. Let me know if you have this press. If you're planning on buying this press. If you're also getting started. Let's take the journey together. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm learning the same as you. I have a few favorite YouTubers that I've been checking out. Just kind of getting the idea of like sublimation. Like I said, butcher paper. Very important. Make sure that you have that. So on either side of your image. That way you're not messing anything up or transferring through. Heat tape, again, is this necessary? Do you need this big thing? No, but I'm extra and I like it. You saw how easy it was. It was great. I have this in my affiliate links. I will have another one that's less, do less, then I have that for you too. Again, just check that out. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to try to answer them for you. Yeah, I guess I will stop talking now, and I'll see you next time.